Hello, welcome to a new video. Today I'm starting with the topic, how we have errors in the problem. But not how we do it, how we look for the error, how we recognize the problem. I'm going to film the issue for you right now, where we attempt to start it up, but it just absolutely refuses to start. So the issue we're dealing with, we turn the ignition on, we want to get it started, it cranks over, but it just absolutely refuses to fire up and run.
Quick heads up before the video starts. Don't be surprised about the quality differences between the videos we upload. Sometimes one will be good quality, other times it'll be poorer. One that's poor quality because we're uploading new and old car tutorial videos at the same time, but we've improved and recut the older ones, since a lot of the footage needed fixing and we wanted to bring them up to our current standards. What was unnecessary was cut out. And they're now being uploaded one after another. So go ahead and hit subscribe so you don't miss a video, and I'd say let's get back to the video.
Air, we need spray, we need ignition, that will simply have to be explained more clearly. Alright, we're taking this cover off here, the housing. Now we could pull off the hose here and check to see if the priming pump is actually delivering. Or we could take the air filter off and give it a quick spray with some starting fluid. In there and see if it starts up then. Let's try that and see what happens. So I'll show you the whole thing now. So, as we can see, the issue isn't actually stemming from the fuel delivery system that's preventing the engine from receiving fuel. Yeah, so it's definitely not the system's fault. If, for instance, you don't have a starting pilot now, I'll show you how to, but I'll still show you how you can check that just to be absolutely certain and to run through the whole diagnostic process, because it's a good thing to know how to verify it yourself for the future, even though we already know the answer here today. You need to be very careful with things like this. Don't remove the hose when the engine is hot. Hold it so it's closed off and you can see if there's any fuel coming out from the fuel line. We'll just turn the ignition on now to check the pump. And we'll just see the door already opening that the fuel is running out. Let's turn the ignition on. Just briefly. Just turn the ignition on. Okay, and we're seeing how it really surges forward. So we'll put the hose back on. So by now, it's almost 100% certain that the problem isn't with the fuel system at all. It could also naturally be the case, that it's something else. And you can see that if you just do the test now without spraying, so without starting with starting fluid, if you just want to check the preliminary pressure, it could be that the preliminary pressure is present there, but the high pressure isn't there. That means you can only check the preliminary pressure at this specific location right here at this point. This is the better test when you try with the starting pilot, because then you can actually check if it starts, if you're low on fuel or not. Okay, so the next step here is we're going to proceed over to the ignition system to check and verify whether there's actually any ignition present, specifically to see if we're getting a proper ignition spark. We'll start by unplugging the ignition coils located right here. You can see that one of them has already been swapped out previously. Looks pretty new here. Disconnect this one. Disconnect this one, so ideally we would want to properly remove and inspect all 4 ignition coils to get a complete picture of the system. But since the priority here is to keep this video streamlined and efficient, we're just going to carefully extract a single ignition coil along with its corresponding spark plug assembly for our immediate diagnostic test. Plug it on, hold it against ground, and check if there's spark. So we take a Torx and unscrew the screw. Really tricky to get out. So we got the ignition coil out. Now we're pulling the spark plug out. So we're going to go ahead and grab a spark plug socket now. Take the spark plug out. So if we want to check if we're getting a spark, we just go ahead and plug this on right here, like so. And plug this onto here and hold it against ground, and then see if we get a spark or not. Use some extra pliers for this. So, and hold it like this against ground, because in case a spark comes, so we don't get a shock, we take pliers like this and start the whole thing and watch carefully to see if we get a spark. Go ahead and start it up, and let's take a good look now as we check. So, and as we can see, we're not getting any spark at all. That means the engine won't start up, because it's not receiving any spark. So, and now we need to figure out why we're not getting any spark. So we've managed to narrow down the problem. That means we don't have an ignition spark. Now we're going to take all this stuff off once, the ignition coil and the spark plug, and check to see if we're getting any current. We're also getting a signal from the engine control unit to the ignition coil. Now whether the issue is with the ignition coil itself or the wiring. That means we'll first take all this off here. Remove the ignition coil. Grab a test lamp and check if there's voltage getting here. On the connector for the ignition coil, specifically on pin 4, the test lamp should then begin to illuminate when we turn the ignition on, or when we are in the process of starting the engine. Let's open the terminal up, ground. You can of course also check this at the battery or here at the engine ground. I'll just hook this up to the battery now. I have now connected it to the battery. Hold this against pin 4. That's obviously not recommended at all. Don't press hard, just hold it there very lightly. Then go ahead and turn the ignition on and see if the lamp begins to light up and illuminate. I'll also try starting it. So he's not getting any supply voltage whatsoever on that circuit. Of course, you could also check the ground side now using a multimeter, but we're just not getting any power to begin with, so that's our main issue. So the next step is we'll have to take this cover off, that's clear, and check the fuses first to rule that out. And then we also need to check the relay that's specifically responsible for the ignition system, which would be this particular relay right here. And so, how exactly do we go about checking that particular relay to see if it's functioning correctly or not? One way is we can apply power to these contacts right here, or we can check these pins for voltage. Bridge pins 3 and 5 and check to see if we get an ignition signal or not, specifically the signal at the ignition coil. So, and that's fuse number 16, so you'll need to check this specific relay, and also fuse 16, they both have to be in proper working condition, then you should have an ignition signal there. In that particular case, they were checked, they jumped terminals 3 and 5, and we still don't have any ignition there at all. That means the connection from the relay box. So that means we've definitely got a broken wire in the circuit. That means because everything is in order, it could of course be the engine control unit, but now we have to go ahead and check the wiring connection from the relay box to the engine itself. To get to the connector, to access the connecting plug from the engine control unit, it's actually a quick connector, it's a plug. So that means we're going to have to take out this entire air filter box assembly here, and then once we've got that removed, we'll be able to see the connector that's actually responsible for controlling the vehicle's ignition system. Or actually, we should say the wiring system that connects to the engine itself, so let's just start by removing these 2 screws here. One, 2. Alright, let's just go ahead and push this pin out, or more precisely, we can just carefully pry this part over to the side. Then we go ahead and take this component off. Well, this is the way we detach the hose here, and so at this point, the only remaining step we have left to complete is to remove the entire air filter housing assembly unit from the vehicle itself. When you do that and don't have a sports air filter inside, then you have this really large box here that you need to remove. So I'm just going to go and take this entire thing out. So now that we've got everything out here, we can see the connector. From here is where the wiring harness from the relay comes. It goes right in here. The main wiring harness gets plugged in right at this exact spot, and it runs from this location over to the engine. You guys have, of course, already opened all this up once before and already found it. So the actual connector itself is situated quite a ways. All the way back deep inside that cavity, right where you would normally go to fill up the windshield washer fluid reservoir. You can either forgive that, and then water gets in here, you can see that a lot of oxidation has occurred there. And we can very clearly observe that a piece of the pin has actually broken off right at this exact spot, which is most likely what was causing the primary electrical connection issue and ultimately preventing the entire component from functioning correctly and properly at all. Has oxidized. And that specific pin right there is the one that's actually supplying power to the ignition coils. So what we've done is taken that red wire to use as a temporary jumper, and we've connected it up right here in this specific spot to bypass the completely broken pin, restoring power flow to the ignition coils so we can try to get the engine to start up and see if this is the fix. And over here on the other side, we followed the exact same procedure, cutting this wire and basically just rerouting it around, so that we can successfully get a proper ignition signal to the system. So that, that there's a problem here and we didn't put this whole thing back in its original spot, but relocated it a bit further over this way so that this here is. Yeah, and I've, of course, disconnected this entire cable now specifically to show you that there's no ignition. We'll secure this cable here again, solder it together, and cover it with some heat shrink tubing, and then everything will be good, and then we'll have ignition again. Or rather a spark, okay? And now we'll start it up and see if we get a spark or not. Once we've got the cable moved into place properly, yeah. So, and how you there? From the damaged sausage water container, how the water got encased because the cable oxidized or the pin oxidized. And the weird thing that also comes with it is that you didn't store a single error in the error memory. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to my channel. See you, ciao.